still hits pretty hard.
There's second gas guys are going down. Chrono Boost, interestingly, on Probe and Stalker. No Mothership Core yet. This is what's so cool about watching Trap play. He pulls moves that most people wouldn't even dare think about doing. Stalker's arrived, and I mean, if I'm ByuL, I'm going to be saying, where's that Mothership Core? Where's that Mothership Core?
Yeah, very peculiar so far. And it's interesting, well, it's important to note, Trap was supply capped ever so slightly. That will affect him going into the mid-game stage. It's very slight, but he is starting to move out on the map. Still, no form of tech chosen just yet. All of his gas is being directed to that Mothership Core and units. 2 Stalkers out in the field, a Zealot, and now we have an Assault on the way.
Oh, 2 gateways going down. ByuL spots it immediately. Stalker is there to kill off the Queen. Sentry is en route. This is a very interesting type of attack from Trap. He's getting out a lot of gateway units while still not delaying his gateway warp gate tech. ByuL is going to try to surround this, but this is excellent predictive controlling by Trap. ByuL still gets the surround, but not before losing a good chunk of units.
Still a good trade for ByuL. You want to limit that count as much as possible so the probes can't run freely all over the place. That's where things get out of hand. But there is a probe already out on the map. ByuL doesn't know about it just yet, but a robotics facility is going to be put down. A roach horn is going to be placed as well. So we are going to see some high aggression in the first game here.
And there, ByuL spots the pylon, so immediately ByuL is going to be assuming there's a huge attack en route. There is a Robo Bay already going down, so that means the Trap doesn't necessarily have to commit to this, but he's still in such a nice position to put on pressure with these 2 Stalkers. The Zealot that has died, there's still the Sentry at the front. Trap's making sure it's a nice tight wall off. I mean, Trap's pace is incredible in this game.
This is so intelligent, always applying that little bit of pressure to force out roaches at a very awkward time. Trap is making it look like it could be some sort of 3-4 gate pressure, although there's not a lot of units out. It forces ByuL to get 8 roaches out so far. That's a lair, that's upgrades, that's a lot that he's losing out on.
Immortal in production for Trap has still not thrown down geysers at his natural expansion. He's putting all the focus here for ByuL, and I think that this is going to be a huge follow-up with an Immortal play. I mean, Trap has essentially forced ByuL to be building a lot of roaches to defend this, and has forced ByuL to delay the layer. So what does that mean when the big Immortal push does come? ByuL is not going to have the tools he needs to defend it.
But at the same token, I mean, he's taking a lot of damage to himself as well. Look at how many sentries are out in the field. It's only 3, 2 just warped in, so he doesn't have a lot of energy to just spend on multiple force fields. This is a little bit of a problem here. I feel like Trap, if he wants to push out, he's going to have one big attack and that's it. So if ByuL is able to get all the force fields placed immediately, then he's in a very nice position to just clean everything up directly after that. Trap, he might be thinking of just taking the back rocks, but if he was, he would have been already killing the rocks now. So I think, yes, you're right. He's going to do this attack, but it's going to be a lot weaker than we see normal Immortal all-ins.
We see it looks like 3 geysers out of ByuL right now. Wow, that is a late layer. Extremely late. In fact, 2 minutes behind what most Pronosses, excuse me, what most Zergs are shooting for. The push has been revealed. Trap's gateway count is a little odd. He's going for 6 right now. This gives him enough resources to back up. No Warp Prism in this at all. I mean, Trap is doing an extremely strong 1-2 punch. Look at the number of Zerglings that are getting produced. We see 2 Spine Crawlers going down, and it looks like ByuL's setting up for a surround, for a flank.
Oh, this is going to work out so perfectly. Remember, those sentries don't have a lot of energy. So if he's able to bait this out right now, but he can't lose a lot of roaches. Here the Zerglings come. A nice surround so far.
The perfect surround. Where are the force fields?
And there they are, but he only has 1 sentry left. Still, ByuL has enough units, and he's going to be able to kill.
Oh my God, ByuL shuts this down with ease. I mean, there's a time warp going down, but 1 Immortal has already fallen. Massive numbers of Zerglings are dead as well. Trap has stopped the attack from completely washing them over. But I mean, only 2 sentries, a half-dead Immortal. Only roaches are going to be the best choice for ByuL right now. He doesn't have to worry about getting blocked or not being able to get to the front. 18 of them hatch, 2 spines at the front. ByuL with amazing defense.
No, that is 4 Spine Crawlers, giving him so much more time there. ByuL is on top of it now. Mothership Core out of place. Glial Reconstitution on the way. And this is a position where Trap needs to do damage. He needs to go and kill the 3rd base in time before these roaches start to surround, but he feels so uncomfortable. He still has another recall, and what will he do? I feel like pushing in here is a very big risk. Can he really play from a macro setting, though? He's at 40 probes to 47 drones, now taking his simulators, realizing that he cannot continue with this. He can't warp in additional sentries because he has such a low gas count.
This is a weird game. No one really has any upgrades. It's just speed Zerglings is basically the only notable thing out. Speed Zerglings and warp gates. Both players have a lot of units, but not a lot of potential with them. There's no forge done yet, just now starting. No evolution chamber down for ByuL. But of course we know in this position he doesn't like to be switching over to big upgrades. He likes to switch to Mutalisks, and Trap's really hedging against Mutalisks by doing this sort of early push. It's going to be the attempted sentry drop, but it's going to get spotted right away.
It's okay though, there is that mothership core that can help with recalling. It's out on the map, nicely done by ByuL. He is mounting an assault, but does he back up from here? This is a really risky position because obviously doesn't want to be blocked in. That's 6 gateways. He still has units going over the ramp to make sure no shenanigans happen.
Well, there's Trap moving on in. The big pack of roaches still hang at the right. Trap looks like he might try to attempt to do the warp in play at the natural. There's no spine crawlers there anymore. ByuL still just doing light poking pressure at the front, which he can do given the fact that there is, again, no nice ramp. It's just a flat entrance. There's not even cannons there. And Trap has a huge number of zealots. I mean, in a sense, he's saying, well, if I can't spend gas to get more force fields, I'll get attacking force fields. The zealots act as a nice block to the units in the same way sentries provide it.
ByuL is doing everything right. He has a lot of space to start kiting these units. With the small amount of sentries, you will not be able to trap those roaches in. So you're going to have some nice play. We should see ByuL just slowly try to inch, or force the Protoss to inch forward rather than just taking so much space as it is. Setting up a lot of spine crawlers. I feel like ByuL is maybe over-defending against this.
I mean, ByuL's trying to do nice predictive movement. He's seeing which watchtower his enemy goes for and saying, well, you're probably going to be going for my natural, but Spire's almost done.
Counterattack.
Not a lot of good anti-air. It is a massive counter at the front. I love it.
Very cool. Roach is trying to get in here. Photon Cannon in the right position. Trap is not going to go back and try to defend this. Instead, going to try to contest against these spine crawlers, but the Stalkers are not being microed back. Units just dying, and so many roaches are assaulting the natural of Trap.
ByuL with his trademark countering, his trademark Mutalist transition.
14 mutants, 15 mutants in production right now. That's going to shut down a lot of what Trap can do. Mostly zealots, not a lot of stalkers, some sentries. This is a great position for ByuL.
ByuL is going to have to sack a good chunk of units, though, but he'll be bringing all the roaches on home. Trap is trapped right now. He must kill off this layer tech. It's very likely going to return back to a one base versus one base situation. Trap deflecting with units in his main. Going to be able to retake the expansion of the Spires. Instantly target fire down. See you later, Spire. ByuL is not able to squeeze out the extra 2 mutas, but he does have 15 on the map right now.
Roaches are closing in, but they will not be able to get to the top. They're very nicely done so far, but he doesn't have a mothership core to recall all these units, so he will most likely lose these. Still dissuading those roaches from moving on up. That's very important.
Another nice play. If you want to stay on the high ground, that's fine. I'm going to deny any expand attempt you make for the rest of the game. Sentries fall immediately. Stalkers try to blink. They're not in position to do so. Oh, the cannons at the top of the ramp were canceled. Mutalists have free reign.
Killing the sentry too. That was what he needed to stop the roaches from approaching. And now Trap is forced to give up his main base. A beautiful play so far by ByuL. But what can he do from here? He only has this third base. There could be a kind of a risky situation with only 4 spine crawlers in this position. But any stalker that Trap loses will be, it'll be instrumental for ByuL winning this game.
This is a painful map to base trade on as Protoss. Spine crawlers trying to poke down the sentries, trying to make sure that they don't get too high on the energy. Right now in the army tab, we see that it is hugely favoring Zerg. I think that this is the ticket ByuL is banking on. ByuL may very well just expand on top of Trap's carcass up on the top.
That would be the best way. I mean, Trap doesn't have mobility at all. If we look at the army tab, it is 41 supplied to 94 in favor of the Zerg. 4,000 minerals, 2,000 gas against 2,000 minerals, and 1,000 gas for the Protoss.
I don't know how Trap can do this. Ooh, ByuL picks off. It looks like the final probe No probes on the map, no ability to produce probes on the map. It's going to be an easy elimination win for ByuL.
It's just going to come down to this. Trap is... Excuse me. Trap is not rebuilt in his base. The pylon is shown over here. The Muta darting over there. And ladies and gentlemen, we're not even going to have a final fight. Because ByuL's going to eliminate him.
Up at the top side. Pylon going to go down. GG! Play, but has yet to... In the bottom left-hand corner, a counterattack, a base trade, a place of comfort for him. Can he bring it to a 3-0? It's I am ByuL! Ooh. Oh, Mr. Greetor, what is it that we have here?
A 10 pool. This is meant to bust a lot of early...
Oh, yes, and we're back. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, it seems we got ourselves an early pool from ByuL. Up in the top right, Trap is going for a gateway first play.
Yeah, gateway is very nice for him since obviously he'll have Zealots out in time for these Zerglings. So we'll find out very soon here as we get ready. Double assimilators, check that out.
You know, I mean, this is a nice standard opening for Trap. He wants to get enough to get up a very fast Mothership Core, very fast one-gate expansion, and ByuL's really trying to leverage a player trying to cut out some sort of super swift pool. Well, this is weird. I mean, like, I've seen a lot of 6 pools in this situation, but I haven't seen a lot of, like, 9 or 10 pools.
Yeah. I'm really wondering, I mean, I don't think it's able to hit and kill a lot of different things. I guess Nexus first, if they're playing super greedy going Nexus Gateway, but even that I think is a little bit defensible. You can see the 3 Zerglings splitting up to the top left, to the top right. We'll find out if he's able to do anything here. Zealots on the way out. And I think Trap will be in a good position. I mean, these Zerglings are going to be a nuisance, but the Cyber Dinosaur are about to finish here. And with that, the Mothership Core pops out in 20 seconds, or you can Chrono Boost out. The Stalker as well comes out pretty fast.
There's the Zerglings coming out right now.
Trap kind of surprised by this, but there it is. The Chrono Boost on top of the Mothership Core. Unfortunately, okay, probes are fixed there. And Zerglings might be able to get a kill. No, Trap playing this right.
I mean, needs to get out that Stalker to apply pressure back on the Zerglings, but he forgot a pylon. Oh, Trap.
Oh, gosh.
Succumbing a little bit to the pressure there.
Everything's going wrong now, but the Zealot, wow, some great micro. Trap. Gonna keep his Zealot alive and take out a lot of Zerglings so far.
So it looks like ByuL moving around, just making sure that that expansion goes down when he expects it to go down. He's looking for any opportunity to scout. That's why these Zerglings are split up like this. The probe's gonna go down. Will Protoss give it chase? No. Protoss is gonna be pulling back way into the main. Knows what sort of trick ByuL wants to play with him. And what a move from Trap. He's gonna be preparing to go for a fast Dark Templar play. Of course he wants to shut down scouting.
Yeah, this will be nice. Of course, just to mix in there, I'm surprised that Trap's doing this yet again because I really feel like ByuL is such a complete defender. Like, he knows exactly what his opponents are capable of, and he will just prepare Spore Crawlers if he really feels like his opponent is capable of Stargate or Dark Templar play.
So it looks like that probe is going to be able to make its way up. Yeah. Twilight Council's nearly done. And you know, if I'm in ByuL's shoes, I'm going to be thinking, all right, cool. I messed with him a little bit, but he wasn't going for the Nexus first. This is a map where Nexus first is extremely common. In fact, any sort of Command Center Nexus first or Hatch first is very common. And I just don't think that ByuL is going to be anticipating this Dark Shrine, because there's this problematic tension that you have as Zerg right now. Are you going to go for a Spore Crawler to defend that? Well, that's going to delay your layer, and then DTs will shut down your third. Do you go for a layer fast and potentially lose to the DTs? This is a perfect, perfect answer from Trap.
It's a little bit scary though for ByuL. He sees that there's a probe and a stalker out on the map. Nothing really of substance like sentries. So in this position, ByuL might be a little bit scared, and he is. He's throwing down a spine crawler. But needs to, of course, to get that spore.
Good. I mean, right now. Oh, when he gets the Zergling, that's at the natural.
That's a little bit of a tell. The gateways are a little bit behind, but he still might think that this is some sort of, 5-gate pressure. Seeing the 2 gateways a little bit late. And wow, ByuL, I think he's going to fall victim to this. I really thought he would defend. Spore crawler in the main base, though. In the natural, nothing yet.
Nothing at all.
Oh, there's it is.
Oh my God, what a
Templars.
read. The last second read. Forge now going down. 2 DTs begin to head in. Uh-oh, they're getting mighty close to finishing, but still, DTs deal sickening damage, but ByuL has the total lockdown. DTs also working away at the Lings at the front. Are the Queens in range? No, it looks like the detection is not yet there.
Taking out this spine crawler that helps, but the spore is finished. Zerglings running into the fray. Can they knock down the Dark Templars? They give the Dark Templars a great surround, shutting down this pressure from Trap. ByuL, with an amazing response, now has his double evolution chambers. He will be able to upgrade very nicely, and shutting down the Dark Templars basically just states Trap is behind in tech. That's the perfect way to play it out. Now he can take his third base, take his lair, and honestly just play macro and be ahead.
This is just a stunning defense from ByuL. He's getting the +1 carapace. Nice answer to what Trap just did. I mean, the fact is Trap threw down very fast DTs to try to apply pressure. Definitely going to be behind on upgrades. Very likely going to have to play passive for a long time. So the choice to go for the Ling upgrades is brilliant by ByuL. But with the Roach Warren going down, that really signifies to me that ByuL's looking to get a third up very soon. He wants to play it slow. He wants to go to the late game where those upgrade leads will really take full effect.
A lot of people would have gone to Hive from here, but ByuL, I love this. He just knows that a lot of times after failed Dark Templars, you're not going to take a third super fast. So you're kind of expecting some sort of 2-base pressure again afterwards. Dark Templars, it doesn't mean it's the end of it. So I think this is correct because he's defending against a lot of Archon pushers if you want to merge 2 Dark Templars together. He's defending against any Stalker, Blink Stalkers type of stuff as we see up in the production tab because you already have the Twilight Council to make the Dark Shrine. There's a lot of different Twilight or Gateway all-ins. And look, ByuL is coming in here to confirm. He sees 3 Stalkers. That should be a big indicator. Will he see the Twilight Council though? There it is, the Chrono Boost on top of that. ByuL, very exceptional in his scouting.
Now this is going to be still somewhat of a tricky defense for ByuL. He can't overbuild Lings, but that's perfect. He spots the extra gateways. He spots the Chrono Boost going down on the Immortal. He sees the Forge getting +2 now. In this position, ByuL has a big opportunity, but he needs to not overbuild on all of the drones. He needs to get units out now. That's exactly what he's doing. His upgrades are coming into effect very soon, and a Warp Prism drop by Trap in the main.
The Roaches go away at the worst time. There are Zerglings though, and this will stop the pressure of a Trap. Beautifully done by ByuL so far. He's just on top of everything. A little bit lucky with that. Of course, the Dark Templar forced those units over there. ByuL did not retreat from that position. But still, I mean, he's stopping Trap at every turn.
Well, looks like Trap is gearing up to take a third, and there it is. He's playing for a very defensive Blink style. Getting up these gateways do give the opportunity to do a big attack, should he need to do that, but right now ByuL not falling for anything. Throwing down more drones, just as the pressure begins to ease up, just as ByuL spots the third.
Well, think he has 1-1 now, so his 1-1 is so much more applicable with this Zergling Roach pressure. Normally Zerglings are just tanking, but now they can actually do some damage. Especially once you open Dark Templars, you will not have a high sentry count, so you can get in there and do damage. So I like this, and transitioning directly over to Spire Tech to get those Mutalisks. I'm expecting a 4th base coming out of ByuL very soon here after realizing that it is a 3rd base.
2 Zerglings up in the main base have managed to spot everything that's up there. They got the burrow tech done. They've been hiding in the corner. They see that it's a Colossus transition. And that's what you gotta be doing as Trap in this spot. You have to be double checking and making sure that your opponent is not gonna be killing you with a big mass Roach play or a big mass Hydra transition. But the fact of the matter is the Spire is the choice of ByuL. The Spire is generally always the choice for ByuL, but it hasn't been scouted at all.
Yeah, this is so scary. Look, 12,000 gas, or 12,000, whoa. 1,200 gas.
This guy's going to be building
up.
120 Mutalisks. Like,
would be nice. But this is going to be an extremely hard to deal with attack. 8 right now just because he's supply capped. That will hurt him for the initial burst damage that he can surprise his opponent with, but still, this is looking like ByuL's game. But this is the timing that Trap needs to hit right before Mutas, or right as Mutas are popping out here. He will be able to do some serious damage. There are no Zerglings, no Roaches, really.
Zealot's doing a counterattack at the third, as there's a tremendous push at the front, and Trap already has the Photon Overcharge ready to defend his own expansion. What an uncanny timing from Trap. He knows that he doesn't have the defense for Mutalisk, so he's going to bring the noise to ByuL's front now.
The constant hallucinated Phoenixes were the key thing. Now the 3 Zealots going to town at the third base. ByuL had the good transition, but did not defend against this type of all-in. Trap now in a great position.
Gosh, Trap just sniffing out that transition. What a move, the Colossus Zealot chilling at the third base. ByuL annihilates the single Colossus. The probes begin to retreat. Trap doesn't need a third base here. Zerg is soon enough going to be on no bases.
Oh, into the main base now, taking out the Spire. That's an important tech structure you need to kill so you don't go into a very terrible base trade. You want to limit that Muta count as much as possible. Now, Lair going down so he can't remake that Spire, and all of a sudden, ByuL was in a good position. Now, tremendously behind. Oh man, such a brutal ending here. And now killing the Spore Crawler. Dark Templars will ravage the third base of ByuL.
What a fantastic series of plays by Trap. The most exquisite timing. ByuL had all his tricks ready, the counters, the Muta switch, but he wasn't ready for Trap to drill down the front. Spine Crawler's nowhere close to done. ByuL never would have thought in a million years Trap knew exactly this timing, and he's not even going to lose 2 bases. Trap happily accepting this set of forces at his natural. Lings might be swarming in, but the entire army of Trap's coming home.
It does not matter. This isn't enough Mutas to actually deal with this, especially with the Blink Stalkers. You can see they blink back, share the HP until all the Mutas will go down here. Still enough Zerglings, but these units are going to heavily, heavily crush the army of ByuL. ByuL does have 1 single hatchery, but income tab shows 4 harvesters out on the map. Forge will go down here, but it's all a formality. Day 9.
Wow.
Big blink on top of the Mutas.
This is what makes Trap such an exceptional player. ByuL's counters, always so good, but Trap knows exactly how to shut them down. And down in the bottom right-hand corner, a little push didn't work well in game 1, but he shows his potential when it's solid play at his fingertips. It is Soul's Trap!
Trap has definitely shown an aggressive tone so far, but that's almost facilitated by ByuL in the beginning stages. Of course, Trap showing in game number 1 he can be aggressive. Game number 2, it almost felt like he was just reacting to his opponent and making sure he had the right build to punish if ever ByuL was complacent with his build order.
It looks like ByuL is just planning on doing a usual pool first build. Be surprised to see him go for a hatch first, given this probe is here. Now keep in mind, Trap is doing a regular Nexus first opening. But in game 1, he did the same probe scout timing and went gateway. So ByuL is going to be a little leery to just throw down a third base if he sees that pylon go down as natural, because he knows how big of a threat it can be.
Forge will go down. It's kind of an interesting Forge. A lot of times you will go for the Nexus even with this spawning pool. But I guess it's just playing absolutely safe and now just trying to block. About 235 to 240 is when normally you accrue enough minerals for the hatchery, so I'm glad Trap didn't take any extra damage against this.
Oh, this is super annoying when He double pylon blocks, but looks like ByuL is intending to see a cancel here. And oh, getting blocked yet again. Trap's shift button certainly working. He is queuing up, circling all around. 4 lings are the next choice for ByuL. But Cannon's already up for Trap. I mean, Trap is still being extremely smart and not being over-committal with this sort of, blockage play.
It was Nexus Cannon, so you can see Trap just playing super defensive in the beginning stages.
Oh yeah, very safe.
I like what we see. I mean, I think that's just the better way to do it. Of course, against ByuL, who's already shown a lot of aggression from game number 2, opening up 10 pool, he's willing to do something like 6 circlings, 8 circlings in the beginning stage, so you don't want to be caught off guard. As it stands, though, just the standard Forge fast expand, going to double assimilators for our Protoss over here. Spinning Chronobus.
I like the double assimilator opening after all these structures have gone down. It's easy to try to slip them in before the cannon, but you really can't do that and do the pylon blocks at the same time. So Trap is doing the usual plays, but doing them very slowly. Safe Zealot, always going to be a good choice.
Right now, it's just the waiting game as both these players start to prepare. On Akalon Waste, what is Trap really going for, especially with his style? Is this always going to be a third base, or do you ever feel like he's going to put pressure on? Because I feel like pressure is a little bit difficult on this map.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a weak play to do that. It really should be Stargate opening, probably into 3 Stargate, having seen Trap's prior games. This is a great map to do it on. You obviously have a neatly tucked away third base, and you can get a 4th base super fast after that, too.
Well, it does look like it's starting like that. Stargate goes down. Probe goes out onto the field just to scout a little bit. I love this. Even if you're going for a macro play, you always want probes out on the map to have your opponent be a little bit leery of the aggression. If they know you're just going to sit back and play macro style, well, they have no inclination to not make drones, right? You want them to make units.
And an important thing to note is that Trap scouted the third base creep. So he goes, okay, cool. You're not doing one of those 2 base all-ins that would cause me to have to really stop and throw down some cannons. Stargate would help thwart those by building a Void Ray, but now that Trap's seen those, he's probably going to be going into Phoenix. He's spent all that money getting the early geysers, so now he's also going to have just enough to get it up, and there it is, boom.
Probably 4 Phoenixes, and you normally get an 8-minute robotics facility right after this, but the real question is, when the third base comes out, there's a lot of different timings when you can put down the third, and on this map in particular, you can get it very quickly. Because of the rocks, you can blow them down. You have a big, big wall, 2,000 hit point wall with 3 armor that your opponents really cannot break. So there's a lot of options for Trap if he so chooses to use them.
Phoenix is popping out, picking off the Overlord. Zergling's trying to annihilate the Zealot. I don't like this play from ByuL. Going to sack a lot of lings to not do too much damage. We're starting to see the Spore Crawlers go down, but this is going to be a presented the Roach play. He is throwing down extra geysers. Zergling chilling at the third base. No attempt to take the third yet. The usual Robo facility and it is a really interesting opening. What most Protosses are trying to do is get the Colossus as fast as possible. I make you build Hydras, and then my Colossus will be the answer to that.
Still, Zerg have a little bit of room to move around with tech. They can still go for the very fast Corruptors. We've seen that a very small amount of times, but you're punishing the fact that all your gas is invested into Phoenixes first, and then Colossus, and what do you have on the ground? You don't have Stalkers because you need a lot of sentries. We'll find out, though. The third base still not going down. Normally, Protoss is kind of motioned to take a third base by now.
Double Spore in every base and going Roach, that seems a little bit unwise. I mean, it's a little bit too overly defensive, and I'm liking this play. 4 Zealot Warping from Trap at the far outside edge, and there's really not a lot of units there to defend against it. Do they have +1? Yes, they do. That means the Zerglings are going to be extremely weak against them. All Trap's waiting for is that next round of Lings. Excuse me, next round of Zealots.
And this is so smart to think. When you see 5 Phoenixes, you're thinking, oh, they're playing macro. It's okay. I can keep droning up from here. I don't have to make too many units, but now he has a big swell of these Zealots. They're going to put pressure on the third base, and against only Zerglings, your Queens are going to be instantly denied because they can be picked up. So you're not going to have any of that long-range attack to safely kill these Zealots.
Great tactical play here by Trap. He's annihilating all the drones, picking off the Spore Crawlers. Once the Spore Crawler goes down, that Queen's going to be lifted up.
Oh, even the Roaches are getting lifted up. This is such an intelligent play, and now there's so many Zealots over here at the third base. He might be able to just target the hatchery, and yes, that's what he does.
Spine Crawlers from ByuL going down, but Trap splitting up his Zealots attack brilliantly. Look at this ByuL going back to mine in the midst of everything. The instant ByuL begins to target fire down the hatch, that's when the drones engage, but it's not enough. The hatch goes down.
Nice opening out from Trap, made a lot of sense. Great pressure. Now he's motioning to take his third base. Down goes the Nexus. And now it just looked like ByuL is so far behind. Yes, he has a lot of Roaches, but what can he do against this narrow little choke at the natural, against the narrow choke at the third base? This is working out perfectly. And with Phoenixes on the map, he's going to be able to see any motion to attack. And
nice play gooping that up. It will delay the range. It makes it slightly more difficult to protect the second and third base. But much to no one's surprise, Aspire is done for ByuL. I get the sense that he wants to go Mutas, but I really think that Trap is far and away ahead. This is a defensive play from Trap. He already is getting Twilight Council for Blink. He's continuing to scout and pick off drones with his Phoenixes.
This is why Roaches are so hard this day and age. I mean, Protoss have gotten so good. Whoa, whoa! A big misstep by Trap, losing his sentry in the front. Now Roaches getting into the main base, getting into the natural. We'll be able to pick off some probes here, but a good response so far by our Protoss player. And the Colossus there will shut things down. A second Colossus is going to pop out right on top of the Roaches. He will not be able to gun that down fast enough. A good force field will stop the Roaches from moving any further. And a great defense so far from Trap.
ByuL not getting insignificant gains there. 93 to 109, we're seeing Corruptors arriving, a lot of macro hatches going down, so it looks like Trap ain't gonna be going Mutas this game. He's gonna be flooding a bunch of Corruptors and likely pulling back into something like a Roach Hydra Corruptor force, trying to be extremely aggressive against it, against Trap. Couple lifts, fairly successful, and man, Trap is just good. He knows exactly where these Corruptors are going to be, how to time and place those Phoenixes.
You know, I'm a little bit worried about this Corruptor timing. I mean, yes, they're good against the current composition, but once you show them, and also once Blink is out, Corruptors become a lot less viable. Blink Stalkers will just blink directly underneath the Corruptors. Corruptors don't really damage the Colossus fast enough. And I feel like Trap just has every advantage in this game. It's very difficult.
Wait, Muta transitions. Now this is actually very, very, very risky. This is an extreme risk. I mean, this force can easily kill the 11 Mutas, and it must be taken head on. I mean, it's gonna have to be a big flood of Zerglings after this to just be able to keep it alive, but Trap's playing solid and stable. He's looking like, so good.
It's like Trap has a production tab in his head, man. Like, how does he know these Mutas are popping out? Again, attacking at the perfect time when ByuL wants to transition over and take momentum in the game. If this is a minute later, this attack does not work. But now, ByuL is against the ropes once again, just like game number 2. Phoenix is trying to chase down these Mutalisks.
Oh, wow, ByuL.
So many units are inside of ByuL's natural. He's already evacuated.
I mean, ByuL is just getting eviscerated. Trap knows these timings so perfectly. ByuL does force a retreat from some of the units, but the majority of them are still ripping down expansions. Look at the split by Trap, knowing exactly how to utilize that Mothership core for maximum potential.
Everything is perfect, and ByuL trying to spring for some sort of response, but he has none. Now he's stabilized, killing the Spire.
No, the Spire falls down. ByuL's hopes to transition out are gone. The rest of the force falls, but is there even the Roach Warren on the field? That's the only unit producing structure that we're going to be seeing ByuL use. He's lost 2 bases. He does have 1 up in this top side still operational, and his main, but he is going to be running low on larva. His drone count is at 59-61. Still doing pretty good in the drone count, but it's such an easy game for Trap at this point.
I mean, how many Corruptors do we have out in the field? 6 against 3 current Colossus. And of course, we're expecting more a little bit later. I think Trap feels so comfortable. Look at him. He's going up into a fleet beacon just to defend against those mutas a little bit better. He knows all he has to do is max the 200-200, and win the game. There is 100% a composition advantage once he does that.
So it looks like there is the attempt for Zerg to move in, and of course the answer of the Photon Overcharge. This is an extremely tough position for ByuL, who looks like he's just going to bank on the pure brunt power of Corruptor Muta. Anion Pulse Crystals, that's the range upgrade for Phoenixes going down. Trap will be able to kite the Corruptors, but only barely. So that is where ByuL is trying to hope that his edge lies.
Oh, Colossus out of position. One of them gets taken out at the trade of a couple of mutas there. But a good trade overall for ByuL, empowering the ground army. That's stuff that you need to do if you have the ability to incorporate roaches or hydras. But at this point, he's so barren in terms of his just bank. He doesn't have good economy. It's hard for him to actually get a ground army.
There it is, Pathogen Glands. ByuL is going to continue to commit to this air play. He wants to try to get a fungal growth on the air units, continue to build Corruptors. Lings are going to be used largely for counterattack, but as you say, Trap just needs to wait until he has a big enough army, and then it's time to move out. But man, most players wait till they're maxed. Trap ain't going to give ByuL that luxury. He's going to immediately drill in. Cannons everywhere. What's the vulnerability for Trap? I can't even see one in this phase.
Oh.
And 8 range Phoenixes there to greet the Air Force.
No way that he can contest that. It takes way too long. Now the Stalkers, Sentries, and Colossus yet again going into the natural base. An undefended Zerg expansion will go down. Muta sprinting over to try to deal with this. Phoenix is directly engaging against these Corruptors. That's not the trade you want, but it really shows how big of an advantage Trap has.
I mean, this is looking very grim for ByuL. The supply counts betray how terrible a situation it truly is for him. More roaches being produced, but this force is unbelievable, ripping the Mutalist force to shreds. The Corruptors are gonna fall. ByuL gets shut down. The dance of the Phoenix.
26 roaches in production right now, but it's a little bit too little too late. Maybe if Trap segments all of his units, but of course he's a world-class player. I don't think he's gonna do that. All the roaches get lifted. Drones being pulled off the line. Roaches from the right-hand side, a good surround, but there's just way too much here for Trap. With the Colossus, he's able to do magnificent damage. Now the drone's gonna be incinerated.
A superior compositional build by Trap. Picked ByuL down one at a time. GG. He may have lost second place and a champion. I know he has a huge amount of supporters in the crowd. If you'd like to see him tie it up, cheer for Incredible Miracles, ByuL! And in the bottom left-hand corner, his timing is impeccable. He may very well give Soulkey a run for his money if he can win this game. If you want to see him advance to the semis, cheer for Soul Trap! Wow, this is interesting. He's going for a very fast in-base pylon, but it's behind the minerals. I mean, this is, maybe I'm reading in too much, but normally people build the pylon in the back when they want to be going for a fast forge.
Yeah, that's what it does feel like, as you said. The fast forge, just hide it, and he's going to go for a very quick Nexus to begin with, just a 15, no, is it 15x? Yeah, 15x into, well, obviously a forge fast expansion, but we'll find out as he is popping out here. Okay, so we have close positions vertically. What does that mean? What does that entail? What do the players have to kind of adjust in this situation?
It means all that stuff I said about getting easy 5th and 6th bases is total garbage now. Because this 4th is very tricky for both players. I mean, this is hop, skip, and a jump away. Mutalist can easily harass. Colossus can even stand here and shoot units on that side. And if this is your next option as Protoss, that's going to be kind of icky. If I'm Zerg, though, I'm going to be thrilled. I can hold this watchtower, protect this top side base. This is still a pretty easy watchtower to hold as Zerg too. So.
And rushes, I do not think so. Already we don't see a second probe out on the map, so Trap, not really that cheeky player to do something like that. Still has a lot of abilities to do +1 timings though.
Yeah.
This is the important part. How are you going to get your gateway, not your gateway, your overlord inside your opponent's base to check for that +1 timing? That's a tough thing to do. Do you really want to commit an overlord all the way in the back corner?
Well, this is a good scout opportunity. Having this overlord up at the I'm screwed. Trap says, oh cool, I'm gonna do nonstop chrono boost on probes. I'm gonna tech 30 seconds faster because you can't do any damage to me. Look at that, the good old 5-minute cannon.
Cannon after cybernetics core normally goes down before the gateway.
Yeah.
that's how different this build is. And of course he has a lot of different options.
This is the part that's really hard to explain to someone who's like watching competitive StarCraft for the first time. He's like, well, don't you just die if you build no units for the first 5 minutes? And you're like, nah, you wall in with a building that can't shoot, so you're fine. But this is how the big boys play. Trap, getting himself up the fast warp gate as well. Not going to do anything too cheeky. Going to be going straight for Stargate. Warp gate will allow him to defend.
No +1 timing, so it would have left him just to research it. Obviously, he would cancel it a little bit later if he wants to get Stargate super fast, but if he just makes the +1, maybe Bill reads into that too much and says, oh, I have to watch out, +1 timing.
Yep.
Still taking double gases at reasonable time, 6 minutes. That's pretty fast, actually.
Yeah, it's fast, but at the same time, look at the number of probes, 14, now 15 mining minerals. He is staying pretty damn close to maximum mineral saturation. So that means that Trap is going to be able to accelerate the pace of what should be an expansion. And it is not. Whoops, there's the Robo Bay going down. Okay, now this could be the same transition we talked about earlier. Phoenix into Colossus, but wow, a full minute and a half earlier on the Colossus.
As I said, normally we see it at 8 minutes, but coming at 6:30. Now, because of that, he does have a couple of attacking options. We see this sentry being made in the very beginning stages. This could be some sentry zealot harass or even some sentry drops on top of the ramp. Those are definitely applicable in this situation with clearing out all of the overlords with the phoenixes. You can surprise your opponent really, really fast. And clearing out this overlord over here kind of puts ByuL in the dark. Is there a third base coming up or not? So he's going to defend against potential pressure, and he's going to kind of assume that Trap wants to take that third. What will we see first off, though? Is it going to be a Warp Prism? No, or a Robotics Bay going down, so
wow.
He will be doing continuation push after these Phoenixes.
ByuL playing fantastically on the macro front. Already has 16 workers mining at each location, throwing down the double spore. Love that with this opening. He has plenty of larvae to spare. His scout Zerglings everywhere except in the one key spot where Trap actually is hiding. What do you make of this? I mean, there's generally not a good hidden tech opportunity. This looks just like a super late game pylon play.
Yeah, it does. I don't know why he put it out there, but I guess just a spotter? I don't know. Maybe it's just a preference for our Protoss player.
Uh-oh. I think Trap's going to be going for one of those 12-minute double Colossus push timings.
This is really powerful. We see this all the time. And there should be the tip-off to ByuL with the amount of Phoenixes that are on the map. There's 4, and there's still no third base, so this is a very common way to do this Hydralisk Den going down.
Now this is the perfect opportunity for ByuL. ByuL, who's been going mutilous game in, game out, scouted everywhere, sees just Phoenix and doesn't see a third yet. No third. We're almost at 10 minutes and there's not even been an attempt to take a third. And what does he do? He throws down the Hydralisk Den. Brilliant choice. He's going range first. That's a defensive move. He's saying, I bet you are planning some cheeky attack. He sees just one sentry. All the robo units are hiding at the backside, and most notably, the mothership core is completely AWOL.
And that's a small little read there, too. When you see only 2 sentries, yeah, I mean, technically sentries could be in the main base, but normally you have all the sentries up in front. So seeing only 2 there, you're wondering, okay, where is all of your gas? I'm still expecting something. It's creating this narrative, and now we see out on the field right now.
This is a very nice push from Trap. He sees that the bases are close. ByuL answers by building 26 roaches. The R key is strong today.
Oh man, 30 roaches.
He really needs to get those Hydras out. We got the Spore Crawlers at the front.
I love that positioning, really disabling those Phoenixes from just picking up all the roaches. The Colossus will come in here, 2 Colossus, and now the roaches getting good flank. Can he get the Colossus?
Not a good angle!
Oh my goodness, ByuL is
And
able
he
to
takes
take
it
out the
down.
first.
Can he get Colossus 2? Zergling sweeping from behind. Trap caught with the pants down. It looks like there is not a good position here for the Protoss, but the number of units he has is exceptional, being able to cut so many corners in the early game, paying tremendous dividends for the Protoss now.
But it still is a low amount of Colossus, but maybe he's able to snowball this. 11 roaches out in the field. There are 8 roaches, 11 roaches in production. And we'll find out if he can actually stop this. Colossus almost down, picking up the Queen. And he's going in for the flank yet again, Day9.
It looks like he's trying to target fire down the Colossus, and he gets it down. An incredible snipe. The drones at the front line, absolutely critical for deflecting this attack. They do fall rather quickly. There's 15 roaches on the screen. Trap, long-term game timing attack, whatever he wants to do, it seems to be perfect. ByuL does not have enough roaches to answer.
He's about to get them, and a lot of Zerglings about to pop out as well, but he's pushing in anyways. He doesn't want those Zerglings to tank just yet, but roaches from behind. Will he be able to take out enough of these Stalkers? It looks like ByuL
so close.
might be able to stabilize here, but it's still very difficult with all the Warpins popping out.
I don't think he has enough, but suddenly ByuL is starting to turn the tide slowly.
ByuL wants to go to this game to number 5. Will he be able to? 10 more roaches out or popping out right now. Will he be able to get in time? His natural is not mining anymore, so it's 2 base against 2 base. No more. Well, there is Colossus production right now, so he could actually get this, but the Stalker count is going down now, and I think ByuL might be able to hold this, Day9.
By the skin of his teeth, ByuL continues to add fewer and fewer rows of units. The Queen count is low. He can't get the injects he needs. The 1 Spore Crawler at the front helping to protect that small number of roaches. Kiting, so important. Keeping the roaches alive. Keeping all the damage off. And it looks like he might have shoved back, but I don't know yet.
It's still going to complicate with this Colossus on the way. I mean, that Colossus does a lot of damage against those Zerglings, and normally the Zerglings are tanking extremely well, but all the Queens are down. He doesn't have a lot of ways to defend against this, and now supply cap. Day9, I don't know if ByuL is going to be able to defend this now. It looked okay, finally pushing back his opponent, but this Colossus is going to be poking in all day long. Trap showing his aggression now in game number 4.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Where do you go? Oh, the Colossus not going to take it. Oh, the bait and switch, flooding with the warp gate units, throwing down the force fields, trapping the roaches. Trap, who so many people thought would win this tournament, showing why he deserves a spot in the semifinals.
And there it is.